We've now made it to Didcot for Rivals United. As you can see, we've got 4 locomotives behind us, including Flying Scotsman and Pendennis Castle, which are the 2 that are going to be running today. Flying Scotsman's about to leave the shed to go do runs on the main line. So we're going to wait, have a quick look around it until that starts happening.
Here you can see Flying Scotsman's just leaving the shed. Here we can see a Class 08 number 604 Phantom in the British Rails livery. Just behind the 08 is number 6697, built in 1928. This locomotive is now on static display in the Great Western Railway livery. Number 5572 is also a static display as it's waiting on heavy repairs. Next is Flying Scotsman on the main line, although it has not picked up its coaches yet. Just outside of the shed we can see some wagons and even this train here. The next thing you'll see will also be the GWR liveried auto coach number 22. That's coming back up the line to swap with Flying Scotsman. Here is then the rest of the wagons. Inside of the workshop, which is not always open, we can see number 3650 is having some work done on it, as well as this massive piston out of a locomotive. And just to the side we can see 2 boilers, actually no 3 boilers, pilot tubes and 2 nice motorbikes. Here is then a chimney and a safety valve cover for a Great Western Railway locomotive. Number 5322 was built in 1917 but withdrawn in 2014 because of boiler problems. This would explain all the dust, as that was about 11 years ago.
Different technique. If you try to use that, the technique that you understand on that.
Number 7202 was built in 1934 and then brought to Didcot in 1974, and it's currently under restoration. Just outside of the workshop, we can see some more wagons sitting on the line. Number 7808 is a manor class, and before it was withdrawn, it was actually fitted with a brand new 4,000 gallon tender. This locomotive had seen lots of use on the main line, but unfortunately is now only static display.
Pendennis Castle is now just coming to get some coal, so I'm gonna film it doing that, and I think we'll go back into the engine shed.
The engine went to go get some water first, that's why it's not stopping beside the coal. Here they are now loading the coal. I believe this is the only original one of these. Later in the video we are going to walk up the hill to see what's actually inside of there. Number 6998 was built in 1949 and withdrawn from service in 1996 and is currently waiting for an overhaul. Number 3738 was put back into traffic after a boiler overhaul, but now is back out of traffic with firebox problems. Number 3822 was built in 1940 and taken out of traffic in 2010 for a full boiler overhaul. Built in 1931, number 6106 is currently out of service but was repainted in 2019. Number 5 is the only remaining George England engine. Unfortunately, cracks were discovered inside of the firebox, which means it now can no longer be steamed without the necessary repairs. This engine costed £800 when new. D9516 is a Class 14 locomotive, also known as a teddy bear. This locomotive arrived at Didcot in 2014 and is currently in traffic. D1023 was in the National Railway Museum in 1977, but is currently on loan to Didcot Railway Centre for another 2 years. This locomotive is not operational and is just a static display. Number 5900 was restored at Didcot between 1971 and 1976 and is now back out of service, but is in the waiting queue to be overhauled again. Here you can see inside of the cab, currently looking the regulator, now the steam brake. This engine has got a screw type reverser, as you can see here. And then also now you can see inside of the firebox. And then you can also see the cylinder drains. And lastly, most important, the water gauge. Built in 1930, number 6023 is a 460. You can then see on the footplate a little bit.
I thought King Edward II was dead, but clearly not, still behind me.
Flying Scotsman has now got its coaches and is running some passenger trains. Number 5051 was built in 1936 and its second name is Earl Bathurst. You can see Pendennis Castle is next to it. And then again you can also see up onto the footplate. Number 1338 was built in 1898 and so was number 1339, but unfortunately that locomotive got cut up for scrap. This one still survives. They're currently on static display at Didcot. We then started to walk over to have a ride on number 60103, the Flying Scotsman, and here you can see it's just coming back up the line. Here it is now just pulling into the station. After the ride on Flying Scotsman, which I unfortunately have no footage of, we walked up to the area where the coal gets dropped off, and there was this view of the three locomotives that you can see now. Here's then the inside of the building, There you can see where they dump the coal out the side, as well as many of the carts full of coal, and I think they got plenty of coal to keep them going for a while. Number 5527 is sold to an individual who plans to restore it at Didcot, and as you can see it now in its incomplete state, missing quite a few pieces. The broad gauge was also running, so here you can see number 1340 Trojan going back to the top station. We're then seen Flying Scotsman at the lower station about to leave.
Now we're at the end of the line for the broad gauge, and the shed's just over there. So I'm gonna have a quick look inside if you can. If not, then you can already see the locomotive. And I think we're gonna go back to the turntable, and Pendennis Castle is supposed to be going on it.
Here we can see Iron Duke, which is on a static display. This is a replica engine built in 1985. I bet if the engine was running in steam, that those handles would get pretty hot.
Back in 1854, it would have been.
Here you can then see on the footplate the two water gauges. It's got a very simple regulator, as well as lots of store for coal and water.
We've now made it back to the turntable, and the castle still isn't here. So we're gonna have a quick look at the other two diesels that are here, just in one of the sidings beside the turntable.
Number 31270 used to be number D5800, arrived at Didcot in 2023 and is operational currently. Number 18000 has acquired the nickname Kerosene Castle, and work was meant to start to turn it back into its BR black livery, although that has not happened yet. Here you can see Pendennis Castle is now on the turntable, and people are trying to start get turning. And now it's just starting to turn. The locomotive is going to do a full 360 degrees before then driving back off. can also just about see Flying Scotsman in the background going back down the line.
Excuse us.
What's going you on to? What's winning me?
Here you can then see a vintage vehicle in a shed full of old vintage things. And this place also has quite a good collection of chimneys, as you can see here. Next you can just see Pendennis Castle reversing away.
Well, that's going to be about the end of this episode. Next thing I'm going to do is just put Flying Scotsman back in front of the shed and Pendennis Castle in front of the coaches to take people on rides behind that. But we're going to leave about now. So I hope you have enjoyed. I certainly have. And if you click somewhere there for an episode on the Gloucestershire-Warwickshire Railway, and there for an episode on the Gwylly Railway.